There are 5 core ways that you can increase your communicability in any language, English included, and I'm going to show you all 5 right now. When you deliver something in English, the worst thing you can do is have a completely flat delivery. So let's use this example. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. So if I were to strip all of the core ideas that I'm going to talk about and present here out of this, I would end up with this very flat delivery. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. It's completely flat. It's completely off. It has no dynamicism to it. It's not engaging at all. And people fall out of interest in it. It's not the way a good presenter would present this information. So the first core idea you need to understand is pacing. And I don't mean how quickly or slowly you are speaking, I mean how you pace the sentence out. And that is about how quickly the sentence delivers, but you can use speed to communicate and accentuate ideas within this sentence. So let's take it from this really dry core example, the flat delivery of, I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow, and add some emphasis to this with speed. So you can speed through certain areas of this. I need to talk. I need to talk to you about the budget tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. Not only speed, but you can slow down on core ideas to give them extra weight. So I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. So I'm slowing these things down, and it gives a greater weight to these ideas. It gives emphasis to these ideas, and it just communicates your idea a little bit better than a totally flat delivery. The second thing you can do is you can add volume to increase the communicability and the emphasis on certain words. So I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. This gives a lot of weight to those words, and you can put volume into different words. You can put volume into entire sections. I don't mean yell here, but I do mean swell the volume, raise it, and build tonality with this volume and use it to communicate your idea. I need to talk to you about the budget tomorrow. That communicates a need, a real desire to talk to you about the budget. Or you can accentuate the word you. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. So you can raise this volume and you can raise this accentuated feeling on individual words. And it's really about feeling. It's really about what you want to communicate. There are some right and wrong answers, or there's some places where you don't want to put emphasis in the volume. I need to talk to you about the budget tomorrow. Okay, that's a weird presentation, but for the most part, you can kind of decide what the sentence means to get a really good understanding of how volume communicates meaning. Let's look at the famous example of I never said she stole the purse. Okay, listen to the 5 deliveries and feel how they change the meaning. I never said she stole the purse. 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 Okay, 5 different deliveries, 5 different meanings. Nothing has changed in the way the words are organized. The only thing that has changed is the emphasis, partially through volume on these. So that's a great example of how you can communicate meaning through volume. Number 3 is pauses. Dramatic pauses communicate effect and they captivate your listeners. They allow you to build a presence and they allow you to draw your listeners into what you're saying. And there are better and worse places to pause in sentences. So if you're using pauses to think or to get yourself a little bit of timing for ideas, this can be a great way to give yourself a little bit more space. And so you're not using these affectations like, er, I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. Okay, those affectations don't sound good, but you can use pauses to give yourself a little bit of time to think about what you want to say. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. That delivery was admittedly a little bit awkward, but it does give me the space I need to think about what I want to say and how I want to process that information. A better way to pause out your sentence, though, is to pause and give dramatic effect before you deliver key information. So I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. Okay. I'm using these pauses and I'm using quite dramatic big pauses to communicate information and to build tension around those words and to give them more importance. And I highly encourage you to pause more in your deliveries. It is going to give you a more presenter style voice. It's going to make you more communicative. It's going to sound better as you're presenting these things, and it will draw the listeners in. When people have a pause, they wait. They feel the tension. They want to know what you're going to say, and so they're hanging off your every word when you deliver these with pauses. So add pauses to your presentations. It will build a captivating presentation that your audience will love. The fourth thing is tonality. Tonality is a little bit of a hard one for second language speakers. Native speakers use this very naturally, but there are some very key ideas that we use with tonality. Okay? If you go up at the end of a sentence, it's a question. This doesn't feel right to me. It commits a question. So it lowers the confidence that you have in what you're saying. And so if you deliver it on that example we've been using, I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. The idea that I'm left with here is, are we presenting tomorrow? I'm asking you. That's a question because I've raised tomorrow. Tomorrow? I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. Okay. Statements are made by dumping the tonality and dropping the tonality. So you're going to sound a lot more confident if you drop the tonality. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the information that you need to know. I'm telling you what I need. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. Tonality also has this idea of musicality in English, and this is a hard one for a lot of second language speakers to process, but we use tonality to bring the sing-song effect to our English and to our presentations. And the thing that you can do to practice these is shadow. So you find a personality, you find somebody whose voice you like, whose presentation style you like, and you try to copy it to as great a degree as possible, playing it in small chunks. So you play it on YouTube, you play a single sentence, turn on the closed captioning so you can read it. You play that sentence, you listen to how that presenter is presenting that information, and you try to say that behind them, concentrating on how they are using tonality to commit meaning. Okay? A lot of second language speakers have a very, what I would describe as staccato presentation, where the words come out in this very choppy format. Okay. I need to talk to you about the budget tomorrow. Okay. That doesn't sound great in English, and it really allows for a lot of choppiness. And so we let this flow. English is a very musical language. It doesn't sound like it a lot of time, but there's a lot of musicality in English. I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. Okay. It sounds a lot more natural than that staccato presence. So you can use tonality for a couple of things. You can use it to indicate a question where you want it to be a question. You can dump the tonality to indicate a statement and have confidence in the idea, or you can just be aware of tonality and how we flow through the ideas to present a natural idea. The fifth thing that you can do is adding intonation and stress to certain words. And this is also a little bit flexible, but you decide what words you want to intonate and what words you want to put stress on. And this can change. This can be different depending on what you want to communicate with this. But having intonation and stress will allow you to sound very fluid and natural when you're presenting ideas. So I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. Okay. What I recommend doing is if you think about your delivery and if you're sitting at like a 5 in terms of your tonality and how much dynamicism you're committing to this, and you get these presentations like, I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow, lean into trying to get it to a little bit higher range. So see if you can increase your range to a 6 or a 7. I need to talk to you about the budget we're going to present tomorrow. And then lean in a little bit more. Try to build this presentation. I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. And then a little bit more. I need to talk to you about the budget we present tomorrow. These are basically acting skills. And so go all the way to the natural conclusion of this and add this huge range of dynamicism that you probably wouldn't use in everyday tonality and everyday presentations with this idea. But if you become comfortable with that, it will be something that you're able to pull out and you're able to find the appropriate range for your voice. So like, I need to talk to you about the budget that we're before we present tomorrow. Okay, that's way over the top. I would never actually present like that. But if you're able to do that and you're able to practice it like that, then when it comes time to tone it down and have that sort of middling tonality with a little bit more dynamicism in it, it becomes easy for you. And so you can get these deliveries like, I need to talk to you about the budget before we present tomorrow. Okay, using this idea of pace, volume, speed, tonality, and accentuation of individual words to create a very natural, very dynamic, and very engaging presentation. And you can add this to all parts of your speech. Everything that you say can experience this level of tonality and this level of development. But if you practice this, I guarantee you're going to be speaking better in English and you're going to feel more confident in any settings where you are on a customer facing role, or you have to be the face of the company and you have to be the one presenting in English. I'm Ryan, and this is Accent Forge.